Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. If you are new, be sure to like and subscribe for more wrestling content. Without wasting any time, let's get into today's video. The Fiend Bray Wyatt is currently involved in a three-way feud for the WWE Championship on Raw. However, that did not stop the former three-time world champion to hint at a possible match against the Phenom on Twitter. The Fiend replied to WWE's tweet stating that The Undertaker has battled them all and insinuated that the dead man is yet to confront him. Even though Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker have clashed before, the dead man has never taken on the Fiend persona in WWE. The Phenom had announced his retirement on his documentary Undertaker, The Last Tried documentary. However, the dead man will be returning at Survivor Series this year, and it's possible that we may get to see a confrontation between The Fiend and The Undertaker at the show. While The Undertaker stated that he is retired, there still is a possibility that he will return for a final match at WrestleMania 37, and Raw's top superstar The Fiend is the best choice to face the dead man in his last match ever. As reported by Super Lucas, former WWE superstar Savio Vega will be at the Amway Center for The Undertaker's final farewell at Survivor Series. Savio Vega was one of the members of Bone Street Crew in the WWE and a close friend of The Undertaker when he was a part of the company from 1994 to 1999. BSK was a prominent backstage group in the WWE in the 90s, similar to the infamous Clique. BSK featured the likes of The Undertaker, Ricochet, Godfather, Paul Bearer, Mr. Fuji, Brian Crush Adams, Yokozuna, and the Godwins. Savio Vega is expected to be one of the many special guests that have reportedly been invited to be at Survivor Series. There are currently no updates on if Vega is scheduled to make a televised appearance. Super Luca reported the following: the Puerto Rican mayor, who participated in WWE as Kwang and Savio Vega, is set to return to WWE to be present for the retirement of his great friend The Undertaker. Taker will end a great run exactly 30 years after his first WWE appearance at Survivor Series 1990. There is also no word on whether The Undertaker will have a match at Survivor Series or set up a future bout at the PPV. The Undertaker will officially draw curtains on his iconic career at Survivor Series on November 22nd, and the WWE is making sure the PPV feels like a special occasion. The appearances of the close acquaintances of The Undertaker will be a great way to cap off an emotional night for the fans and the dead man himself. Braun Strowman calls Big Show his wrestling dad, and it seems like the monster among men is following in his wrestling father's footsteps. PW Insider reports that Braun Strowman is now considered a babyface internally in the company. Braun Strowman turned heel during his storyline with Bray Wyatt on SmackDown, and he carried his new demeanor over to Raw following the WWE draft. Strowman turned heel after he was pulled into the swamp during the Wyatt Swamp fight at Extreme Rules. Strowman gradually went over to the dark side as he also contributed towards Alexa Bliss' character transformation. Strowman completed his heel turn when he attacked Alexa Bliss by lifting her in the Gorilla Press position. Braun's Universal Championship reign also came to an end shortly after at the SummerSlam PPV, which also included Roman Reigns' surprising WWE TV return. Following the title loss, Braun Strowman was taken away from the title picture, and he was pushed as the face of Raw Underground. The monster handed Dabba-Kato his first loss, and the speculation doing the rounds pointed towards Strowman's full-time switch to the Red brand. Raw Underground was scrapped due to the COVID-19 situation in the company, and WWE shifted the focus towards building a big clash between Keith Lee and Braun Strowman. The former WWE Universal Champion began a feud with Keith Lee on Raw, and he was still booked as a heel during the exhibition match with the Limitless One. Strowman attacked Lee with a low blow using his head, and it helped him set up a big boot for the win. Lee responded with a kick to Strowman's nether regions after the match. Strowman and Keith Lee are now part of a dysfunctional Raw Survivor Series alongside AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, and Sheamus. The differences between the team members is the crux of the storyline, and it has spawned some entertaining segments and matches in recent weeks. However, WWE has tweaked Braun Strowman's character yet again and has quietly turned him face. Of course, we won't see the same babyface Strowman from the past, as the monster would still most likely have an edge and aggression to his gimmick. The storyline between Aalyah, Mysterio and Murphy took an unexpected turn on the last episode of WWE SmackDown. Murphy saw the light again and accepted Seth Rollins to be his Messiah. The unforeseen development naturally left Aalyah fuming, but Murphy just told her to have some faith in his actions. Dave Meltzer provided a potential spoiler in the Wrestling Observer newsletter on how the storyline between Aalyah and Murphy could pan out in the weeks to follow. Meltzer noted that the writing for the ongoing SmackDown angle has the same DNA as Conan's WWC angle in Puerto Rico. Conan married Stacy Colon, daughter of Carlin Colon and sister of Primo and Carlito. As part of the storyline, Conan was eventually accepted by the family, only to be revealed later that he was manipulating the situation from the beginning. Meltzer noted the following: "I still see certain DNA in the writing of this angle because so much of it is reminiscent of a WWC angle where Conan, the top heel, was going to marry Stacy Colon, the sister of Eddie, Primo, and Carlito, and daughter of Carlos. That was a big deal one year in Puerto Rico. For what it's worth, at the end Conan asked her to marry him and eventually the family started to accept him, and then he turned on her and said he manipulated the situation from the start. Not to say that's how this turns out, but I know Ray has much input in this angle." Seth Rollins also offered to marry Murphy and Aalyah on SmackDown, and the wedding segment could be just around the corner in the WWE. How will the Mysterios react to the development? Will Murphy reveal his true intentions sooner rather than later? Or is it all just a ploy to fool the Messiah?